Tyler, the Creator, dropped a new album and it's absolute fire. I actually really liked the song Ring 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 and I liked it before everyone else thought it was really good. Thank you very much. So I'm going to try and remake it in Ableton because I want to know how he does all the elements. I actually tried to remake this last week and I quit after an hour because I was trying to make the snare and I absolutely couldn't and it pissed me off. So today, we're trying again. I'm gonna do everything I can to remake every single element from this song as accurately as I possibly can. Oh my god, we did it! Taking into account the fact that I, in fact, am not Tyler, the Creator. We're gonna go through all the sounds he uses, all the chords and melodies he uses throughout this song, and even some extra little things that I noticed about the ways he sings and stuff like that. So strap in. We're going nerd mode again today. If you aspire to make stuff that sounds kind of like Tyler's stuff, maybe this video will be helpful, but only if I can actually do it. So let's see. If you watched my last remake video, you probably know that I like to start with drums because they're the easiest elements to hear and you can just kind of get rolling straight away. But like I said in the intro, I tried that and it didn't work. No, incorrect. So today I'm starting with the very first element you hear in the song, the bass.
I hope you good, I hope you well, I hope you lit. I miss your touch, I miss your smell, I miss your lips.
After playing in that melody, I looked for a preset that sounded similar because in some cases, the artist did just use a preset. But as I would soon discover, there aren't many presets in this song. So I think there's two parts to this. I think there's the... You've got this fat brassy part which takes care of the attack of the sound. And then you've got this weird... How do I get that sound? I got the first layer pretty easily because it's basically just some saw waves on an analog synth. But the second sound... After trying out a bunch of different techniques, a bunch of different presets, and overthinking this way too much. Come on, bro, you can't fucking overthink this hard. God stepped in and turned off my entire computer. What? What? Honestly, that was probably for the best because once the drums were done, spoiler alert, we do the drums next, I came back to this and realized that I had been using the wrong synth the entire time. Okay, well we found it. Oh my god! After fucking hours of fucking around on the Moog. It wasn't perfect and I still feel like I didn't get that body, that like really FM-y sounding thing right, but it was enough to move on. Oh yeah, and then it crashed again. No, what? I love technology. What? Okay, but let's go back to when I set the bass aside and made the drums. Unlike when I tried this last week, I pretty instantly found a sample which sounded pretty close to the original. Yep, that sounds about right, you know? When you overlay the original song, you can pretty easily tell that the body of the snare is the wrong pitch. The pitch of Tyler's snare is like a boop. This snare is more like a boop. Good to be. I tried shifting the entire sample up, but it messed with the good part of the snare, which was the top. Or we could duplicate it, and one of them is the highs. This one gets to be the highs. This one gets to be the thump. So if we combine those... Oh my god! We did it! That took me forever the other day. I was pretty stoked, especially because usually, when you get the snare in, you can kind of just copy it across the whole track and you're done. But we're not dealing with a regular producer here. We're dealing with an absolute nerd. The snare changes. Why does the snare change so much? For starters, the timing is just slightly before the beat, which I think contributes to like this driving vibe that he's got going here. Then there's this little reverb layer behind a lot of the snares to put it in a space. Then you've got that massive clap at the end of each section. Oh, and there's also a clav hit in there. And this is where the snare was at. But there was still one thing that was missing. I think I can hear this other reverbed out clap that is only on a couple of beats in every 8 bars. Oh, that's so accurate. It was only once I had all those variations in that I finally felt comfortable that the snare was pretty accurate. This is the point at which I was realizing that this was going to be a next level thing to remake. Initially, I thought this would take me a day or two. Oh, not quite, mate. Not quite. Onto the rest of the drums, and the next element I did was the ride. Turns out this ride is actually an open hat from an 808. If you listen to Tyler's version, you'll notice that it's a lot more squashed, and the volume sustains the whole way. So I added 2 compressors and a tape saturator to squash it down a bit. Alright, fuck it, let's do the kick. No, I want to do the hat, I'm scared of the kick. That's what it is. Since the ride was from an 808 drum machine, I tried out the 808 closed hat and it sounded pretty similar. But then I realized, like the snare, there was a lot of variation. I tried to emulate it with a few parameters, but then realized that it was probably a live hat, so I layered a live hat on top of that. After going slightly insane for another 20 minutes trying to recreate this one variation I could hear. Seriously, just that. It was time for the kick. I got the rhythm in with a random kick before focusing on finding the right one. When looking through kicks here, it's kind of hard to describe what I'm looking for. Basically, I'm looking for a thumpy kick, but not with a lot of click and not too much low-end boom. Basically, just imagine you're punching a pillow. Once I found one that was giving me good vibes, I went through a bunch of distortions to figure out which one was the right one, because that's what I've found gives the pillowy type thump in a kick. That's pretty much the meat of the percussion, but there are still a couple little tiny details. I added all the percussive vocal stuff. Hello. This little 808 bongo. And then changed up some timing so that it would groove right. And after a day and a half, I was finally done with the percussion. Hello. Yeah, that bump's a lot better. Alright, okay. Hours and hours in, I think we're moving beyond the percussion. I'm scared to do the rest, because this is where it gets hard. No. We must prevail. I started with a pad. Now these are just kind of rough chords I'm playing in because I know that I'll edit the MIDI later. We're still working entirely within this loop because I want to fill it out as much as possible before moving on to different parts. The next thing I can hear is a string melody. It was starting to sound really cool filling this out, but the MIDI strings just weren't doing it for me. So I had a new idea. We could. Fuck it. Why not? Ah, yes. Now there's a reason I hesitated to get this out. My finger's literally broken, which made it kind of difficult to play literally anything in tune. After a bit of much needed warming up, I did eventually find a fingering that didn't sound completely out of tune. I'm a big fan of slides. I know that's not on the original, but it's my vibe. Maybe I try without sliding, but that's my personality. I also found a new camera angle. Alright, let's try this shit. Now getting back to the chords, it was time to finally put in the piano. So it turns out there's literally only one chord in this chorus, and it was wigging me out because it's actually not playing the bass note that the bass is playing. That makes for a really cool floaty vibe once I finally get it, but we'll get more into the chords later. For now I wanted to do a bit of processing and get in some of the other melodic elements. At the moment the piano sounds way too thin. How do I thicken this? And I tried to do some processing on the piano itself by doubling it up and adding some tape saturation. But I had a sneaky suspicion that group processing was the key here, so I moved on to the other elements. And then I went for this little plucky thing. I literally just made a basic saw pluck and made sure the resonance was super high so you get the... And then it was time for the source that glues this whole thing together. Distortion. Now I am convinced that Tyler wanted to ram this entire album through a massive distortion pedal, and the only reason he didn't is because his engineer was like, brother, can we not? Like, listen to how crunchy this first hit is. Once I put Decapitator on the master, everything sounded so much more right. Okay, dial it back, cowboy. Hello. But there's still one crucial element the chorus is missing. Unless I was about to deconstruct the ringtone note by note with Melodyne's polyphonic feature, which I seriously considered, by the way. The only other option I had was to download like 20 ringtones and see which one was the best. That's probably the closest so far. I chose one, chopped it up, and holy shit, I think the loop might be done. Okay, that's pretty good. I might go back and change the ringtone, but it's quite good. All right, so we may already have 57 tracks, but we haven't made it out of the loop. So that's what we gotta do now. Almost 2 days in, and we're finally ready to get out of the loop. You lift me up, you get me up, I'm so high. You drain me up, you rock my boat, I'm in no time. Unironically though, I definitely see this as a big milestone. Once I've got a full loop filled out and I'm happy that it's pretty similar to the original, in many ways I've done a lot of the hard parts already. But in many ways there's a lot more hard stuff to do. So, the workflow at this point kind of just improves copying the section you've made into new sections, removing the stuff which isn't in there, and then kind of adding the variation. For example, in the first verse I had to move around the ride, kick, closed hat, and a couple other elements to make this fill, which happens a few times. That's just one of many, many variations that happens throughout the song. It's really just a methodical process of going through and listening really hard to what changes in each section. And holy fuck, how am I gonna do this pre-chorus? This is gonna take so long. Fuck that shit, I'm doing the second verse. Take my heart and build the wall so tall I can look over. I need to touch you. In the second verse, you get this funky as hell lead behind Tyler's vocals. I sound designed it on a Juno and made sure to get the slide and wobble right at the end of the melody. It's essential. Hello. And then I played in some more violins because I actually come in the second verse as well. Hello. If this sound and energy is something you've been trying to get in your own music for a while, but whatever you do, you just can't seem to get it, boy do I have something for you. I made a pack based on the vibe of this music. Oh, it's called Ding Ding Pack. I wonder how I thought of that. And it's not just a sample pack, although there are some pretty banging samples. There's also a bunch of MIDI files for original chords and melodies that I wrote in this vibe. And then for my Ableton brethren, I've made a bunch of multi-sampled instruments that you can play straight away or just program with MIDI. And all of these elements come together into actual music in 4 separate demo loops that I made, which are pretty juicy, to be honest. You can deconstruct and understand them if you want, or you could just grab an element from it, say the chords, and throw it into your own track. I'm making it pretty cheap for the first week because I love you. I really hope you enjoy, and it helps you get that energy into your music. Alright, time to do this fucking pre-chorus.
I know you said not to call you again, but I miss you. And I hope I can see you one more again, but I miss you.
Let's build it bit by bit, starting with the bass. That changes because the chords change. But the thing about this section is I'm still kind of convinced that Tyler didn't actually make most of it himself. So I do feel like a little bit of an idiot trying to recreate it from scratch. For starters, the entire song is a sample. All in the way you get down. And also because I can hear so many random different layers which come in and out, and I can't hear anywhere else in the song except the pre-chorus. But I mean, if it is a sample, I couldn't find it. So we're making it from scratch. And thank God I did, because in the process of figuring out the chords, I discovered something really cool which I want to use in my own music. And I want to share it with you in the next segment, which I'm calling Music Theory with Camus. Welcome to Music Theory with Camus, where we use music theory to understand why good music sounds good rather than for no reason at all. And you've been tricked into being here because you thought this was a fun production video, but now that you're here, you can't leave. Go on, leave. I dare you. Try it. Actually, no, don't. I need the retention. Please don't leave. Even if you don't know any music theory, I'm hoping that the sounds will make sense. This is gonna be hard. Because you've got great ears. Don't think I don't know that. So we've been in E flat minor so far. That's pretty obvious.
I hope you good, I hope you well, I hope you lit.
In this part, you could argue that we move into F sharp major, which is the relative major of E flat minor. If we just count up the scale, that would make this chord the 4 chord. And this chord the 3 chord. But then what the hell is this chord? I mean, it sounds pretty sick, but it's definitely not the 7th chord in F sharp major, let alone the 7th note. But what is it the 7th note and chord in? F sharp minor. All we did was just turn the scale from major to minor and grab a chord from it. Now if we bring it back to F sharp major and shove it in there, the fancy technical name for this chord is a flat 7 chord. And the only reason it's called that is because we flatten the chord that's normally the 7th chord in F sharp major by a semitone. Flat 7. But now for the important bit, and the part that also might get a bit confusing. Why does it sound good? Well, it's all to do with where it leads. The most reliable way to lead back to a key is with a 2-5-1 progression. You've definitely heard one before. In our key of F sharp major, it will be this. Now what's funny is that the chord we were banging on about before can basically be subbed in for that 2 in the 2-5-1 because it shares 3 of the same notes. Even though the chord's not in the scale, that sounds lovely. And that's exactly what Tyler's done here. Except instead of leading back to F sharp major, which is the key we've been in for the pre-chorus, it leads directly back to E flat minor, which is the original key of the song. I'm pretty sure someone's told me this before, but here is me consolidating with music I like. You can substitute a flat 7 for a 2 in a 2-5-1. Wow. Music theory with Camus. But anyway, after I'd gotten the chords down on the piano, I moved on to creating the orchestra that plays them. And then there's this madness. I recorded a billion string parts, programmed in some cellos and violas, and did some wacky processing, and the pre-chorus was pretty much done.
Dude, alright. At least it's good that it's morning for this one.
Well, well, well. Here we are. With the entire instrumental pretty much done, I've danced around it enough. Time for the $1 million question. Can I replicate Tyler's vocals? No. No, I can't. But by God, I can try.
I hope you good, I hope you well, I hope you lit. I miss your touch, I miss your smell, I miss your lips.
I miss your touch, I miss your smell, I miss your lips.
So I gave it a red hot crack, that's for sure.
Baby, grab some food, don't be a stranger.
But I simply don't have that deep raspy voice.
That's alright.
But getting into the verse, the second I realized it was falsetto, I knew this was going to be fun.
This is gonna be fun.
I'm not sure if you know, but I've got a bit of a background in falsetto. In fact, my first 4 singles were sung in falsetto because I was insecure about my regular voice. So I was definitely having fun getting back to my roots, if we can even call it that.
So we just need a bunch of those. Because how many am I hearing?
You lift me up, you get me up, I'm in so high. You drain me up, you rock my boat, I'm in low tide. You lift me up, you lift me up, you get me up, I'm in so high.
I did a bit of basic processing on top of what's already on my default chain, and then I realized a couple things that would get me closer to replicating Tyler's delivery.
You lift me up, you get me up, I'm in so high.
I needed to be more breathy,
You rock my boat, I'm in low tide.
I needed to be more rhythmic,
You get me up, I'm in so
and I needed to sing certain words slightly out of tune.
You rock my boat, I'm in low tide.
Seriously, I fucking love how these inflections just make it feel so sassy.
So high.
And then I spent the next 10 minutes trying to get the tone right on Your Sugar Walls Have Been On My Mind.
Sugar was a bit on. Sugar was a bit on my mind. Sugar was a bit. Sugar was a bit on my mind.
Thanks, Tyler. The more I sung, the more I feel like I was getting into the feeling of the song.
Again, but I miss you.
Yeah!
Into the chorus, and one pretty classic thing that Tyler does here in the chorus is, yes, there's a lot more stacks here, but they're also panned super wide in the chorus in comparison to the pre-chorus to make it feel like everything kind of opens up and make the chorus basically just feel a lot bigger.
So these get wider in the chorus.
Honestly, going through and recording every single one of these really made me appreciate the range of vocal styles that Tyler has here. There's the stuff we've done so far, but then he's got some more belted vocals with his chest voice.
I had to protect my heart and built the wall so tall I couldn't look over.
Some stuff in a lower octave.
One more time.
A rap verse.
Operator, put your clothes back on. Operator, how we gonna move on?
Some ooze. Some ad-libs, which were honestly a lot of fun to record.
I hope you good. Oh, miss your lips. I'll call my mama, baby.
And some electronic effects like a bit crushed vocal.
Don't tap the glass.
And a talk box, which, because I don't have, I had to find an electronic workaround. Holy fuck! After one more session where I added some final details, it had been almost a week on this remake. But I did have something to show for it.
I'm gonna listen to it. Let's see what we got, bro. Let's see what we got. Come on. Holy shit, there's a lot of stuff here.
I hope you good, I hope you well, I hope you lit. I miss your touch, I miss your smell, I miss your lips. Baby, grab a drink, baby, grab some food, don't be a stranger. I know it's hard though.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
You lift me up, you get me up, I'm in so high. You dream me up, you rock my boat, I'm in low tide. I miss the lip right now. Sugar was a bit on my mind. good.
I miss your touch, I miss your smell, I miss your lips.
Oh, miss your lips.
Baby, grab a drink, baby, grab some food, don't be a stranger.
Oh, call my mama, baby.
I know it's hard, but
I had to protect my heart. Built the wall so tall and built the gold. I need to touch you.
one more
I need to see you.
one more
I need to smell you.
I'll pick you up by 5, and I don't know why. Listen.
I know you said not to call you again, but I miss you. And I hope I can see you one more again, but I miss you. Baby, 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 baby.
Hello.
Operator, can you pick that phone? Pheromones, what the hell going on? Operator, what the fuck right now? How you feel right now? This your grade right now. Operator, put your clothes back on. Operator, how we gon' move on? Operator, can't be next time. Yeah, right, it ain't no deadline. Before you go and walk out my life, I wanna tell you. Before you go and walk out my life, I wanna tell you.
How much I love you, I love you. 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 I love you, I love you.
Pick up the phone, girl.
What the fuck? What? We did it, guys. Camus the create. No, I'm kidding.